Hello, welcome back to Hunter Tune. Today I'm messing with the old 42-year-old Malibu with the Cadillac 500-inch big block engine. And in the last video you guys did see that we got it running. I got it off the trailer, but there was a pretty severe leak coming out. It's got oil all over the shop here. I'm cleaning up. So since then, I actually discovered where the oil leak was coming from. The oil filter was actually like rusted through here. So it was leaking out of the oil filter itself, and I replaced it with another oil filter from Napa. Believe it or not a lot of places actually even had an oil filter for this thing. Napa had an oil filter, so that's really cool. I just got the cheapy version. I didn't get the Napa Gold or whatever. But yeah, and then I got some Brotella 1540 to top it back off. I don't really want to spend a ton of time or money on this engine. I just want to see what it's all about, really. And see, you know, if we can maybe do a burnout or something in it. So since replacing the oil filter, I got a deep cycle battery in here, and I actually got the connections tied down. So the ground I just have on this is actually a camper battery out of my RV, and I tightened down the negative side here, and then there was two different positive terminals on this thing. There was this one that was taped up and sitting over here, and then there was this one that I was hooking to the battery. I traced them. They both go to the starter, except this one has like a wire nut on it going to this stuff. I don't know what any of that does, but realistically they both had power before when I was just using this terminal, because they both go to the starter. So and it didn't start an electrical fire before, so I don't see why it would now. The only thing is I ended up using this terminal because this one is longer and I can actually put the battery in the right spot. This one is just a little bit too short, and it was actually causing tension on the cable, and it was rubbing on the exhaust manifold, so that would have been bad. So I actually called the guy. I hate doing that. Like if I buy a car, I don't want to call the guy I bought it from, because it's just going to be you know, you don't want to annoy them or anything like that. I've had people buy cars from me and stuff in the past, and then they call me, you know, complaining about something. Or they didn't realize what was all listed in the ad, kind of thing. So I don't want to be that guy, but this guy's pretty cool, and I'm not trying to cause any issues. I just wanted to see, since he built the car, what both battery terminals were for, and he said that when he's running it on a really hot day, because the timing is so advanced, this thing cranks super hard. He actually had two batteries in the car at one point. So me having to jump start this thing in the last video is actually a common thing on this car, it seems. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to retard the ignition timing a little bit, because this thing ran good when I would slowly bring the throttle up and then snap it. It was clean. It would rev good. But if I just yanked a handful of it and just tried to get a real quick snap of it, it would backfire out of the intake. And then when I would shut the car off, it would diesel. Like it would keep running after I shut it off, and it would kind of you know, clunk around. So I'm going to retard the ignition timing a little bit and see if it starts up any better, and see if it still diesels when I shut it off. And especially because it has, you know, just regular old pump gas. It doesn't have race gas in it. And there was actually a comment on the last video too that mentioned this engine is probably closer to like 13-to-1 compression. That's insane to me on something like this on pump gas, but we're gonna just send it and see what happens. So from my understanding, I have to loosen the distributor hold down nut. There's a little bracket right here with a nut. There, you can get a little better look at it here. And fortunately for this Cadillac engine, the distributor is right on the front. I don't have to worry about trying to crawl back by the firewall to change the ignition timing. So I'm going to loosen this. It looks like probably a 7/16 or something nut. I'm going to loosen that up, and I'm going to turn the distributor slightly to the left. I believe counterclockwise is going to retard it, and then clockwise is going to advance the timing. On like a Honda engine, something I'm normally used to. So depending on which way the engine spins, like on this little B16, if the engine spins this way, so when you watch the engine run, the belt is traveling up and over this way and then down. So the engine spins this way. So if we take the distributor and we put it that way, the timing is going to happen sooner, which means we're advancing it. So taking the distributor and pushing it towards the firewall, you advance timing on a Honda engine like this. And if you take the distributor and put it with the rotation, it's retarding it. I don't know how to do something like that on this, but my buddy did tell me, he said, I'm pretty sure it's counterclockwise. So we're just gonna try that and see if we can get this thing to crank up any better. And I'll probably leave it loose and get it warmed up, idling. And then I'm going to play with this back and forth until I can hear where the engine wants to be. I don't think I'm gonna put a timing light on it. I literally just want to get it to rev clean and not diesel when I shut it off, and hopefully crank up a little smoother. Because even this deep cycle battery at 12.8 volts still struggles to turn this thing over. So I'm just gonna turn the distributor a little bit, and then I'll pick up with you guys when we get to firing this thing up, and hopefully it fires up a little smoother. All right, let's give it a crank and see if she fires up. Touching the gas, it's only been running for a couple seconds and it's sitting here idling. So I'm gonna jack it up while it's running, and I'm gonna make sure that the oil leak is fixed. Just guessed, and I turned it like that far, and this thing's responsive as hell. Wow. America. I guess I can tune a V8. It didn't diesel when I shut it off, and that's the longest I've ran it. It's probably been sitting here running for like 10 minutes. And the hotter they get, the more likely they will diesel. I'm curious how it cranks back up. I'm just gonna reach in and see if it'll fire. Might not. No. That battery, man, damn. So, I'm gonna check the battery voltage quick, and I'm gonna see if the alternator's charging, because, I mean, when it gets hot, it just might, you know, it just might need even more battery to crank up, because, like I said, when things expand, compression goes up, everything kind of goes up, so. But it is low on tranny juice as well. I just put 2 quarts of oil in it. So the oil's topped off, the water's high enough. As you can see, the thing's not overheating or anything. But we're gonna put some tranny juice in it quick, and then probably pull it off the hoist. I'm gonna see if I have any lug nuts laying around so I can at least get like three lug nuts on the front. It's only got 2 right now, unless we have 5 in the back, which we don't. Yeah, we only got 4 lug nuts in the back. So I'll see what I have for lug nuts laying around and see if we can at least get 1 or 2 more on the front. And then I think I'm gonna take this thing down the road, see if she does a burnout. I found some lug nuts here in my random grab bag of lug nuts, and unfortunately this car has 7/16 threaded lug nuts, and all I have are shanks. So these are acorn style lug nuts that are probably what should be on here, but I have some shanks kind of hammered into the wheel. It's better than only running 2 lug nuts, so we'll just run them for now. I'm not planning on going 100 miles an hour anyway, so. And the back has good lug nuts, so. Yeah, got some shanks on a non-shank wheel. Oh well, that's all I got here. So I'll have to get some 7/16 lug nuts, and I'll have to get some more 7/16 shank style lug nuts, because I do have a set of slicks that fit a G-body right here, so yeah. But I'm gonna get it back down on the ground. I just did another once over under the car. I checked the U-joints and stuff. They all seem tight. And I'm gonna check the battery, make sure the alternator's charging, and then I'm gonna go for a cruise. Well, I did get the car running better, but unfortunately, the alternator isn't charging. I don't know why, it's just not charging. So, I might test the output on the alternator to see if I have 14 volts there, but I only have 12.3 at the battery. Coming out of the alternator. So while this battery's still charged, I'm gonna take it for a little ride and then get it back in the shop. It does a burnout. So it is running a little better. Look at the speedo even works. It is raining, unfortunately. The speedo works, it's so funny. It don't really have the best brakes. It's got a leaking master cylinder, but it's got power steering. Look at that. It smells like mice, but oh yeah. Good thing old carbureted car doesn't really need a lot of battery voltage to stay running. We're out on the road now. Yeah, she just laying rubber. Obviously, it's raining. Just want to see if it'll shift. Okay, we're gonna see if it shifts. like this thing has a short throw throttle. It's like I barely touch the throttle and it like caps off. So I don't know if it's you know, actually going wide open or not, but well, it does a donut. That's funny. I like effortless donut. Like I'm barely touching the throttle. It runs pretty good, guys. I gotta figure out why it's not charging, but other than that, fuck yeah, bud. Back it in the shop here. She'll fit on the dyno? Oh yeah, all day. Well then, it runs pretty good. Not too shabby. I think next video, we're gonna see if we can put this thing on the dyno, and hopefully it's not raining, and hopefully maybe I can figure out this alternator. But it's so funny, I was, look at the hood. She's just steaming from all the horsepower, you know. Yeah, it's definitely no turbo Outlast, but it is kind of cool, I guess. And it's running pretty good. It's got great oil pressure. I should check the temperature now that I've ran it down the road, but I'd assume it's fine. I gotta air out the shop, it's all smoky burnout. So I thought it was kind of funny that the car started spinning the tires just at idle, because the rear brakes aren't hooked up. It just has front brakes, and the front brakes are pretty shitty. So he did give me a master cylinder with the car, sitting over here, and some brake fluid, so I'll probably just keep topping it off for now. But another thing is, I told you guys when we were out on the road taking this thing for a ride that it felt like the pedal just hit a dead spot, like there was a block of wood under the pedal or something. So I'd hammer the throttle down, and it just felt like it hit a spot where it wouldn't want to go anymore. And I'm like, oh, maybe that's the 4-barrel, you know, part of the pedal where I just have to push it a little harder. So I pushed it with all my might, and I took a video of the linkage, and I'll insert that right now of how far the throttle's actually going with my foot on the pedal. And here is how it should be opening. I manually opened it all the way, and that's how it should be. So we're really not even getting a full wide open throttle out of this thing currently, and I don't know how I'm gonna fix it, because you can see the cable set up right here is going to the carb, and this is the like homemade little bracket they have with a return spring. But if we go in the car, the pedal literally hits the floor. So if we look down here, the pedal, if I push it, that rod, this rod right here where my middle finger is, hits the floorboard. So it can't go any farther. So I don't know if I should, maybe like bend the pedal a little bit so that rod isn't gonna hit the floor, or try to massage the floor. Or if I, should just hammer the floor down a little bit or something like that, but I don't want to really screw up the floor or anything if I don't have to. And I don't know if I'm going to be using this gas pedal or not. So maybe I can just take the pedal out and like put a bend in it so I can get wide open throttle. Because if we're gonna dyno this car, which I plan to do in the next video, if we dyno it, I want to be able to go wide open throttle and see what this thing's really gonna do. And then maybe we'll do like a couple runs just on pump gas, 87, and then maybe I'll go to the gas station and I'll get like 2 gallons of 110 octane or something, because he said it really wakes up when it's on race gas. But the alternator's still not charging, so maybe I can just get a some sort of battery charger contraption where I can just charge the battery. I'll bring out like a little 5 amp, 2.5 amp charger or something and just leave this battery on it, because this battery is a good battery. It's just, after you run it for so long, it's gonna get harder to crank over. I'm just on my way home right now, but I just thought of something. An old school saying was, put your foot through the floor, right? Or, pedal all the way down. Make sure that you really push that pedal as hard as you can all the way through the floorboard. It's probably a situation like what we're dealing with here on this Malibu. If I were to push the pedal a little harder, maybe I'd bust through the floorboard and then it would go wide open. And it would actually go faster the harder I push the pedal. So, yeah, that's it, guys. We at least got it running better and got the oil leak fixed. Did our first burnout and we took it for a test drive. This thing actually drives pretty damn good, and it doesn't rub the tires like he was saying. At least it doesn't right now. But it was in 3rd gear by the time I was doing like 20 miles an hour. So I wouldn't think that this car does more than like 60 miles an hour, to be completely honest. So obviously when you're geared that low, this car has like 456s or something in the back with a little 25-inch tire or 24-inch tire, whatever's on this thing. And only 4,000-ish RPM of usable RPM. You guys can do the math. I'm sure it's not very high. So, yeah, I'll try to get it on the dyno tomorrow and clean up the shop a little bit tonight yet. And we'll see what this little puppy can put down. Put your guesses down in the comments what you think this little 500 is going to make to the wheels horsepower-wise. I think if it makes like close to 300, that would be pretty cool, because 300 horsepower at 4,000 RPM is probably a good amount of torque. And obviously that's what these things do, is they make torque. Not really my forte, because the fun's over before you even get started, kind of thing, where horsepower, the fun keeps going. So thanks for watching the video, guys. Leave a like, comment down below, and we'll see you later. Have a great night and a better tomorrow.